The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Jack Reed entered. Towering aliens with features ranging from insectoid to vaguely reptilian watched him with what he had come to recognize as contempt. Humans were the newcomers, barely, 2 decades into interstellar politics, and regarded as little more than clever primates who had stumbled upon faster-than-light travel. "The human delegation will now present their petition," announced High Counselor Drell, a 12-foot-tall being with iridescent scales and 4 arms folded across his ceremonial robes. Jack approached the central podium, acutely aware of how small he appeared to the assembled representatives of the 17 most powerful spacefaring civilizations. The mining rights to the Arcturus system hung in the balance. Earth needed those resources, but the Vrax Confederacy had laid claim despite the clear violation of prior treaties. "Esteemed counselors," Jack began, his voice steady despite the dismissive clicks and hums that rippled through the chamber. "We have presented extensive documentation supporting humanity's rightful claim to the Arcturus system under the Galactic Accord of Your species was swinging from trees when the Ye-Potter Accord was written," interrupted Ambassador Krith of the Vrax, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "You understand nothing of our ancient ways." More laughter spread through the chamber. Jack had expected this. For years, humans had been laughed at, patronized, and manipulated by the older species. But today would be different. He reached into his pocket and withdrew a small weathered data crystal, an artifact discovered in the ruins of an ancient alien outpost on Mars, predating human civilization. For 3 years, Earth's best linguists and xenoarchaeologists had worked to decipher its contents, revealing something extraordinary. "Perhaps," Jack said quietly. "That is true. But we understand more than you think." He inserted the crystal into the podium, and holographic symbols appeared above him. Ancient glyphs that caused an immediate stir among the council members. "What is this trick?" demanded Counselor Drell, rising from his seat. Jack took a deep breath and began to speak in a language that had not been uttered in the chamber for over 50,000 years. The ancestral tongue of the Founders, the mysterious precursor race that had seeded life throughout the galaxy before vanishing. "Veknara soth melindri, kalthan voreshim prida," he intoned carefully, the words feeling strange yet somehow right on his human tongue. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Counselor Drell collapsed back into his seat. Ambassador Krith's mandibles froze mid-click. The entire chamber erupted in chaos. "Silence!" bellowed Drell, all 4 hands raised. When order was restored, he fixed his compound eyes on Jack. "Where did you learn these words, human?" "From our home," Jack replied simply. "The Founders visited Earth, just as they visited all your worlds. They left traces of themselves in our myths, our oldest languages, and artifacts buried beneath our soil. We didn't know what they were until we met you and began to understand our place in the galaxy." He gestured to the holographic display. "This crystal was found in a chamber, beneath the Martian surface. It took us years to understand its message. It speaks of 17 worlds chosen by the Founders, 17 species given the spark of advanced cognition." Jack switched back to the ancient language, reciting the names of each council species in their primordial form. With each name, the corresponding delegate seemed to shrink in their seat. "Humans are the 18th, Jack concluded. "The last chosen, according to these records. We are not outsiders to your galactic community. We are its final members." The chamber remained deathly quiet. Jack could see the mental calculations happening behind alien eyes. If humans truly were the 18th chosen species, it changed everything about their standing. Ambassador Krith broke the silence. "These could be fabrications, clever human tricks." Jack nodded. "You're right to be skeptical. That's why we've prepared to share all our findings with the Council's historians for verification. But consider this. How else would we know the words that even your youngest are not taught until they reach maturity? How would we know the prayer of greeting that begins every Founder text? To demonstrate, Jack recited the ancient greeting ritual that only those well-versed in Founder lore would recognize. The words resonated through the chamber, and Jack saw recognition in the eyes of the Elder Council members. "The humans will withdraw while we deliberate," Counselor Drell announced, his tone notably more respectful. 3 hours later, Jack was summoned back to a transformed council. The smugness was gone, replaced by a cautious respect. The council acknowledges humanity's status as the 18th chosen, Drell proclaimed. The Arcturus claim is granted, and furthermore, we extend an invitation for Earth to take its rightful place as a full council member. As Jack left the chamber, Ambassador Krith approached him privately. Impressive, human, the Vrak said quietly. But I am curious. How much of the founder language do you actually understand? Jack smiled. Enough to know that when I spoke the greeting ritual, I was actually reciting a children's counting rhyme. Krith's mandibles twitched in what Jack had learned was the Vrak's equivalent of a smile. Then we have much to learn from each other, it seems. Your species deciphered in decades what took us centuries. That's humanity's gift, Jack replied. We're quick studies. As he returned to the Earth Embassy, Jack reflected on how quickly things had changed. The scoffing had stopped. The patronizing was over. Humanity had found its voice among the stars, by speaking words from a shared ancestry that even the oldest civilizations had nearly forgotten. They had earned their place at the table not through force, but through understanding. And in doing so, they had reminded the galaxy that sometimes the youngest have the freshest eyes with which to see the oldest truths.